this. There you go. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Test.
Let me make sure it's connected to that. Hang on a second. Yeah. No, it's connected to this.
RTX voice, which muffles the background noise.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Here, you know what you can do is you can. Oh no, somebody. You can you want to turn the fans off? Yeah. Turn. Is this okay? The end video.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
I mean, no matter what mic we're doing, that's going to be a problem.
All right. All right. So, check 1 2. All right, cool. All right. Audio check. All right. So, everybody out there in TV land, hey, what's going on, guys? No, we're on Twitch. We're not on Twitch right now.
Yep.
We are or we aren't? Okay, we're on Twitch, I think.
Twitch takes a little longer.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So we got the audio working. Thank you, Terry. Can you guys hear me? Audio check. No packs needed. All right, audio is checked. So we are golden. Do I need to turn on the restream chat thing up?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So the camera we look at, that's the camera. That's the front facing.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, cool, guys. Well, welcome to another evening episode 16? 16 of Let's Talk Gunpla with Uber's Cosplay. Before we get started, we're good? Awesome. Thanks, Senpai. A huge shout out to Silverback Senpai. If you guys haven't followed him on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, his OnlyFans page, be sure to check him out. No, I'm kidding. So no. But anyways, be sure to check him out. Silverback Senpai, always super appreciative of all the help he gives us. So today you see we have a new person sitting between Ben and I in the sandwich. We have Varun with us, and we will all go into like where to find us and connect and all that kind of cool stuff. So I always like to give you guys updates as what's going on at Flynn's currently. So we just got a bunch of orders about Gundam, or a bunch of orders of Gundam, various kits. We have some high resolution kits as well that came in. Bunch of cool stuff. We open at 5 p.m. tomorrow. First come, first serve.
It will not last long. Get in here.
We won't last very long. I'm sure Ben will mention a few kits that we have. Hey, Wenz, what's up? A few kits that we have. We are also prepping for a Taku Fest in January. We plan to be there with a little station for building with the kits and also bringing some arcade games out as well. So we want to prepare for that. And I'm also currently working on like a little e-commerce website through our website also, so that we can kind of begin to put those out there for people that want them that aren't necessarily in Florida able to pick them up. So we got that stuff going on, guys. We got Roy. Got it's cut us off. It's like really low.
Never been before.
Yeah. I would say
Right
like
there.
a little. Right there.
Good.
All right, we're good.
Yeah.
So we also have, guys, the big event coming up this week is on Saturday, our Fall Family Fun Day. Of course, everybody's welcome. We're going to have pie eating contest. Silverback Senpai is going to bring in Beat Saber. We're going to have, still working on a couple other components, free face painting, a cotton candy, a popcorn, kettle corn. I'm going to try all that good stuff. So that's what's going on Saturday from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. But enough about what's going on at Flynn's. My name's Eddie. I am one of the owners of Flynn's Arcade here in Margate, Florida. We are located right off of Margate Blvd and 441. We open tomorrow at 5 p.m. for $10 Tuesdays. All our social media information is right below on the bottom. Flynn's Gaming FL on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. It's all there if you want to connect, or you can reach out to us directly. Our contact information is on our social media platforms or profiles and on our website. And sitting next to me is
Varun.
Varun.
Yeah, I'm also Valortron on the Flynn's Discord. Yeah, I'm the one who runs the D&D kind of coordinate for you guys.
do.
Which we're gonna start this week.
Yes, I forgot. That is something we are starting this week.
Share.
So
it
tell
out.
the people what's the deal with D&D if they want to be a part of it. What can they do?
Yeah.
First of all, D&D, we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, just in case people don't know what we're talking about.
Very preliminary. So yeah, we're running some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons for some local DMs who are running their own sort of homebrew stuff or some stuff out of books like Earth Strahd. So that's starting this Wednesday, like I said. We have it advertised, so it's $10 a head, and it's split between the store and the DM. So store gets half, DM gets half of whatever, whoever shows up.
Mhm.
And yeah, what we're asking from you guys is just anyone who wants to come and play, go ahead to the Facebook and respond to the event like today, right now. because we need a proper head count to know, okay, is one DM going to be okay, or does everyone want to come in?
Yeah,
and
we're
get
gonna
tipped?
have probably I think like 4 or 5 tables.
Yeah.
So first come first serve. Unfortunately, until we have the extra space.
Mm-hmm.
And so, is there anything they need to bring with them, Bruin, for the D&D?
Mask.
Okay, of
Definitely.
course, yeah, mask.
Definitely mask.
Okay.
And then preferably your character sheet ready. I think we're asking for level 5 characters for the
Right.
one coming up Wednesday. Anything from the books, I don't think there's any race or class restrictions. If you have it on your phone, if you have physical dice or virtual dice, that's fine. Even if you forget your sheet, we have sheets in the store. But save time if you have all your stuff with you. And that's really all we're asking. Just show up, show us, who wants to play, show us the interest, and we'll be able to keep this going week after week.
And in lieu or in addition to what Varun has said about Dungeons and Dragons, Will and I had a very interesting conversation with Will. Who was it? GameWorks. Games
Ooh.
Workshop. So we had a very interesting conversation with Game Workshop this morning or this afternoon. So we'll be moving forward most likely with their paints, D&D stuff, Warhammer stuff here in the near future.
Your black windowless tile.
So-
Windowless tower.
So we are beginning to kind of prep the groundwork for when that takes place because we want to begin to build these D&D groups up so that when we do have the expansion, the extra space, we can just pivot back into that space.
Oh, yeah.
Completely fine. So really, you guys just need to show up. Starts at 7, right?
Yep.
Starts at 7 o'clock. You're more than welcome to come out before. We open at 5 p.m. And we have drinks, snacks, beer, and wine here as well for you to purchase if you'd like. And it's just going to be a great time. But Varun, where could they, if you want to give it out, if people want to ask you questions about what we're talking about this evening when it comes to Gundam, where can they find you, talk to you, all that kind of stuff?
Easiest way on Discord at Valortron. On the Flynn's Discord.
Awesome.
You guys may see
How do you
me.
spell it? I'll put it in the chat.
VALORTRON.
VALOR.
Yeah, TRON.
TRON. Okay, so Varun. All right, continue.
Yeah, or my name, Varun_Ojar at Instagram or Facebook. But the Discord probably the easiest way to get me.
Awesome. And that's on Discord, right?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So people can find you. And Varun's going to talk about, well, I'll let Ben talk about that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But nonetheless, Ben, introduce yourself. People know who you are by now,
Right.
but still.
I'm Ben, aka Uber's Cosplay. If you see giant robots at cons, you've probably seen me. I do a lot of giant robot costumes and other crazy stuff. But I also come here at Flynn's all the time, usually on Thursdays for build and paint night. Just working on stuff, talking shop with people, that kind of stuff. And I'm also the guy doing most of the Gundam orders. So
I love that.
So if you appreciate the stock we have, it's all because of my good taste.
Yeah, because I would be picking out the shiny stuff that I want
honestly, if you hate it, it's my bad taste.
But they can find you, Ben, where do they want to?
Yeah,
they
the
wanna
best
link
place
up
to
with
find me is on Instagram, YouTube as Uber's Cosplay, UBERS Cosplay.
you?
That's where I post all my cosplay work. I don't do too much in the way of the scale modeling stuff on my Instagram, but now that I got my new place set up, maybe I'll be doing some more of that lately too.
Cool. And also, he's on Discord as well.
Right.
And so they can find him. Is it also Uber's Cosplay on
Yeah,
Discord?
Discord on across everything. It's all the same name, Uber's Cosplay. If you want on the Discord, you want to ask a question like about what we have in stock or something like that, just at me and I'll answer your question.
And I know we have some of your community on our Discord as well.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of crossover here.
All right, cool. And the Discord links, guys, are in the description of this video, wherever you're watching it. So be sure to click there. It'll take you over and you can get started over there. So that pretty much gives you how you can track each one of us down. But before we obviously get into the meat and potatoes of today, want to obviously tell you guys about the Gundam Club. Ben, why don't you take it from here? Why don't you tell me about that?
So if you guys aren't familiar, Flynn's has a club called the Gundam Hangar Club. The Gundam Hangar Club is a little thing we put together, and the idea is to give a lot of perks to some of our regulars. It's $25 a month, and you get a long list of benefits, but you get going through a few of them, you get the Flynn's Gundam t-shirt.
Yes, we have more coming this week.
Yeah, you got more t-shirts coming. We got a custom sticker. You get 10% off of every model kit in the store, and that includes concessions, snacks, candy, that kind of stuff.
Please do remind us if you are part of the club, and we
Yes,
don't.
make sure you say something behind the
We
counter.
don't know every time.
We're working on some kind of an ID system.
Yes.
Got to bear with us because we got our fingers in a lot of different pots right now. But also, we do a monthly order with our distributor. You'll get access to that order, so you can get access to some stuff that might be rare, and usually at a much better cost than if you were to buy it at a brick and mortar. You also get to play for free here in the arcade on Thursdays. That's the same day as Build and Paint Night. So if you want to come in here with a project and you want to relax for a few hours beforehand, you can come in here and just try out all the arcade games, get your game on. And you also get a coupon every time you buy 5 kits. You will get a coupon for half off a kit when you buy another one of the second, when you buy another kit at equal or lesser value.
Mm-hmm.
You will also get a monthly care package.
Which this month.
Have we already given those out yet?
No, this week, guys, if you're watching, by all means, I'm going to have them all in envelopes for you.
Right.
We are giving... Should we tell them or should they just come and see it?
I think we showed them last time.
Yes, the
We're
sanding
giving
sticks.
some God hand sanding sponges.
Mm-hmm.
I think this time we're giving them the extra fine ones.
Yes.
So every month you'll get some kind of either a tool, a little
Sticker
supply
or
or something.
a transfer.
Right. We're always going to try and give you guys something every month. We're going to try to do like consumables and things like that. The kind of things you'd use just any kind of thing you're working on. You'll also get exclusive access to our Discord channel, which is specifically for the Gundam Club members. If you guys are in the club and you're not on the Discord, it's important you get in there because that's where it's easiest to get in touch with me and where I'll be putting updates about what's available and when the order sheet is going live and everything. So if you're not on there, very important you get in there because it's the best way to get in touch with people.
Contact one of the admins through Discord and they can put you into the group.
Right. And
or the channel.
You also get early access to any classes and events at Flynn's, be it like the family fun nights.
Yep.
We're talking about doing a Gundam class in the future for families. Like
We will be doing that. I have to build the announcement, but we're going to do that family build night on the 7th of December,
Right,
which is that Monday.
Right. So if you're a club member, you'll get first crack at that before we open it up to the general public.
100%. So we got that. And then, yeah, so that's it, guys. So a bunch of cool things. Be sure to fill out the form below. Super simple. And to get started, if you have any questions, by all means, hit us up. So anyways, guys, wanted to make sure you knew about that. So let's get into the meat and potato. What do you got in store for us, Varun? It's all on you, man. It's all on you.
It's all on
So, Ben, what was the idea behind bringing Varun here?
Varun's one of our regulars at
Regulars.
Build and Paint Night.
100%.
And,
And he leads the D&D stuff.
and he's leading the D&D stuff.
And I'm almost as big a nerd as you are. When
Almost.
That's the mecha.
I think that says more about how big a nerd I am.
He comes with these backgrounds for his Gundam that he
For all-
purchases.
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
your backgrounds?
Mhm.
So his backdrops. So yes, I would definitely agree that he's on that level.
But I mentioned that we should start bringing in club members just to kind of show off the kind of stuff they're working on because even just in Gundam, there's so many different series and different kinds of shows and model kits and stuff that the kind of stuff you're into, someone else might not know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's going to be talking about this series, Gundam Astray, and I actually don't own any kits from Gundam Astray. So this will be an interesting thing for me as well. I think I owned one, but I used it for spare parts. I'll talk about that later. Astrays are great for that stuff. All the parts look great.
Yeah.
And this is one of the high resolution kits, right?
No, none of these are.
No, the
high-resolution.
ones we have on the shelf.
No,
Yeah.
we'll talk about those later. But this gives us a good chance with Varun because he's really into Gundam Astray to talk about some of the side stories with Gundam. Now, Gundam is not just an anime, and there's tons of the different animes as well. There's side stories and supplementary material. And so it's like when the show would come out in Japan, it wouldn't just be the show. There would be like a whole line of usually comics, video games, novels, all kinds of stuff. Pretty much, for the most part, the American and the international audience doesn't get any of that. Sometimes we get a little.
Really?
Sometimes we get a little bit,
Okay.
A little bit.
and this is we'll talk
If you
about
like-
this as well. But a lot of the times, the side story material we just never get in America. Sometimes you'll have to go through like fan subbing groups to get like mangas and stuff like that. Just fans that are subtitling it themselves.
Okay.
Because, like I said, there's so much, and Bandai Visual only has rights usually to the animation. So if the comics want to come out, a different company has to pick it up. Like you'll see, just as an example, these comics, it's not Bandai, it's a company called Tokyo. It's a completely different company.
Oh, so Bandai would put out the TV show and the movies.
And it was the same reason with the games up until recently because a lot of the games had to go through different publishers and stuff like that to come out in America. And then when Bandai bought Namco, that kind of simplified things. 'Cause
We own everything.
now they own everything. It makes it a little simpler. But nowadays they're doing a lot more simultaneous release.
Right.
Like a lot of stuff will just come out in multiple languages at the same time. They're even
Okay.
doing it with the instruction manuals and the books. The books will
Appreciate
be
that.
in multi-language right off the bat, so you don't have to like sit there with a phone try and translate stuff. But I wanted to bring Varun in to talk about Astray because he's always working on stuff from Astray, and they have really cool designs, but I'm actually not too familiar with it. So Varun will be a great guy to talk to us about that stuff.
All right, so Varun, lead the charge. So What is Astray, or where do you want to start? Whatever you want to do.
Okay. So Gundam Seed Astray came out, I believe, the same year as the anime in Japan.
Okay.
So 2004?
2002, 2003.
Okay.
The original Gundam Seed. That show actually came out in the US. Anyone who saw it on like Toonami or whatever it was at the time.
They did the edits.
Yeah.
Because nobody was, it was like at the time in anime when they couldn't show violence in America. So nobody had guns. They had like laser pistols. They had like disco lights on them and stuff. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah. And this is on Toonami?
Yes. Was it on Toonami or was it?
It was on Cartoon Network.
Was it? Okay. I can't remember if it was on
Toonami.
Like the horrible editing is like a thing they had.
Oh, very interesting. I did not know that. Okay,
Right.
so
Me being the dork that I was, I watched it, but like no one else did. That just started the doom of Gundam in America for a while, which is something else we can talk about at some point.
Yeah.
But at least to my like benefit, I guess, at everyone's benefit who got it at the time, the Gundam Astray manga was released in sequence with the show.
okay.
It technically is only these first three. This covers like
That covers the entire.
You want to, for the people that cover, we'll flip over to camera.
Yeah. Go ahead and switch camera.
I'm using the Scream Deck because Senpai got it for us,
yeah.
so I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, the first three issues are really the Gundam Astray original story.
Okay.
Now this is immediately familiar to me because the artist Tokita, I know he did a bunch of Gundam manga. Like he was the artist. Yeah, he still does. He did the Gundam Wing mangas back in the day, which maybe some more people have seen.
The G Gundam manga.
The G Gundam manga he did, which I love the 4 comas they put in the back, like the joke comics.
They have those.
They have those in these. Oh, those are probably worth buying just alone for those. But yeah, this guy does a lot of Gundam manga. He's still doing them today.
Okay. Interesting.
So if anyone who's familiar with Gundam Wing mangas, the art will be immediately familiar because that artist is the same.
And when were these books released? The same time?
As the anime.
Yeah.
In the States.
In the States.
Okay.
Whenever the anime was coming, I think it was a year after 2004 in America. I think that's when the anime came out here. I think the manga was released at the same time.
Trying to find the ISBN on here.
Of course, if people haven't read manga, you do read it a certain way too. The physical act of reading it is different.
You read it.
It's in reverse, unlike like traditional American comics.
Yeah, I just want to break it down for some people. They might be watching and not have ever picked up one before.
Manga got that 100% authentic manga.
And that's actually kind of a big deal because like I remember like Dark Horse would release manga and stuff, but they would flip it, and the Japanese the Japanese artists would see it. And they would be like, "Oh, it looks terrible," because they would see flaws in the art that isn't immediately obvious when they flip it.
Yeah,
like you don't think much about it, and like they would do things like when there was a car, they'd flip the license plate so it wouldn't seem obvious. But they hated it, and like companies like Tokyo Pop like led the charge if we're going to release it exactly in the same format the artists intended, the right to left.
All right, so those are the first 3 books.
so
Those are the first 3.
you think 3 books and like, okay, that's a nice little tie-in for an anime. But then that was just like the beginning, because Astray for the Seed universe is this giant multimedia thing that's way eclipsed the anime.
Yeah, Astray is really popular. You still see a lot of kids about it.
Because in sequence with these main Astray mangas, then it splits off into it really covers 3 main characters. Our boy in the red frame here, Logier. The blue frame Guy Murakumo, and then the gold frame Rando Gina.
Okay.
And so they all essentially get their own stuff. So here, the Gundam Astray R manga is kind of a retelling of the first few issues, but also continuing on the story.
So like an expansion of it, so more or less?
Yeah, from Lowe's perspective.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, and you can see the art is completely different. I have no idea who does it, and some of the art is like...
this is the guy, I believe he did... Let me take a peek at it real quick and I'll tell you. Yeah, this is the same guy. He's done Gundam mangas as well. I think he did Lost War Chronicles.
I never read that. No, I read Lost War Chronicles.
No, you're right. Lost War Chronicles was the guy that did Lotus War.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting my guys mixed up.
I have that manga.
But yeah, This artwork is familiar. I know I've seen this in other Gundam mangas.
My one gripe with this one is that with some of the mechanic stuff, it is unintelligible about what they were trying to get across.
The artist is not.
Really?
Some artists can be hit or miss.
let me see issue
Yeah, let's see
number
an example of what you're
issue
talking
number
about.
4, because the last one in the last battle where they're fighting like the regenerate Gundam or whatever.
So this series of books is from a one of the character specific point of view.
Yes, and then for Guy, the Blue Frame pilot, he gets a novel, which I
Like written.
a written
Yeah.
novel.
There's a whole, like everyone knows about manga. There's a whole another series in Japan called light novels, which are small pocket books that you
Really?
they're just continuations of stories.
I don't believe that one was ever released in
Yeah.
America.
Light novels,
The Astray B manga.
light novels. There is a lot of them getting translated now, but it's like there's like years and years of them we missed out on.
What are you supposed to be seeing here?
Yeah, I can kind of see what you mean.
Oh my god.
Is like the art's very pretty, but it can be kind of difficult to tell what's going on.
You can still kind of see the Gundam's head, but
Yeah,
there's other ones where it's like
This needed to be
it's fighting another big thing, and you have no idea what's happening.
this needed to be a 2-page fold out.
Yeah,
But they're like, we're gonna cram it on these pages.
But I do like the detail of his artwork. It's very nice.
yeah.
Let's go ahead and look at one of the other ones.
Yeah,
So, my understanding with Seed is the cosmic era.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the side story is it's happening in the same universe as everything happening on the screen.
Right.
But it's like while while everything's going on at Heliopolis and everything,
Mhm.
what's going on at a different colony, and that's usually what the side stories are focusing
Actually,
on.
what's happening at Heliopolis right at the beginning? Lo shows up 5 minutes later and takes the red frame because the show's also in Heliopolis for some reason.
Right. So that's like a thing. It's an adjacent story. Like
Yeah.
they make the characters between them don't necessarily interact.
Okay.
They don't meet up, but certain things will happen in one story that will directly affect the other. Like they'll be dealing with the consequences. Like he says, there's a big battle in the first episode of Seed, which destroys a lot of this colony Heliopolis and causes a lot of chaos. And so Go, being I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sure. He's a junk dealer in the story.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's just going there to look for spare parts and get money off of this battle, essentially.
Yep. But then, there's Guy coming to take the blue frame as well because he's a mercenary sent to destroy the things.
Right.
And then there's a third party who's like, we want this for ourselves. So then they all get caught up in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, and I think this is something that you're probably really familiar with, Ben. The beginning of like this giant multimedia blitz that Astray is kind of unique in that it's kept on going so long after the show.
Yeah, Astray's got some legs to it. It's kept on going a lot longer than some other side stories.
But yeah, it's got the shows. See, it had the shows. It had the sequel Destiny.
Mhm.
It's got Astray. It's got and then the manga line, which just kept on going with all the shows. The novels, the photo novels, which are a thing that never got released here. It's
Yeah.
basically pictures of the models with little stories attached to them.
Yeah, I know Hobby Japan did those and things as well.
Yeah. I know they did the tiny little commercial OVAs. We mentioned those. We talked about
Right. I remember that just because you get to see the blue frame spin around that giant sword.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
Right.
And then it just kept on like I said, it kept on going. I don't know if they have ever had any audio dramas. I know that's a thing as well in Japan.
I guarantee they have. I cannot imagine
What
they
is it,
have.
like a podcast or a video?
Not like
Just the audio?
It's like you'll buy a CD and there'll be a couple of insert songs by a particular artist, but then there'll be
Like
the
a
voice
actor
actors
from the show.
the voice actors they pick, because I guess most of this wasn't animated.
Yeah.
They'll still have a character voice for the character, and we'll just have like an episode of a show that's like a radio drama.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Dang.
That's what I mean when it's like like he says, it's a multimedia blitz to really get the entire picture of Seed.
Exactly.
It's this stuff that never came out in America.
Yeah.
So you
Which
really
is
have to,
aggravating to me.
So people are interested in a particular Gundam series, they should do a little more exploring because there might be a
Now-
manga or a TV series off.
Nowadays, it's a little bit easier because
Yeah.
if the manga has not gotten an official release and it's something coming out, there's almost certainly a fan subgroup out there that is doing like an unofficial translation that you can find on like Facebook groups and things like
Oh,
that.
okay, like in a PDF format or something like that.
Not even like a PDF format. Like they'll take the images and just Photoshop on their own text. They're basically doing it. They're not getting paid for it. They're fans and they
Doing it for
want to
the-
see it. They're doing it for the love of the material. I know Zeonic Corps is a big guy.
That's a big one.
They do a lot of them. They did a lot
For
of
Gundam at least.
They did a lot of the unicorn ones and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. I didn't realize that.
Right, but what's this other one you got? This is that third pilot you were talking about for the gold frame.
No, well, I think that was the games or something like that. This takes up after this is done, and the first Seed show was
I
done.
recognize him because I know he pilots the Dreadnought. gun.
Yeah, we actually had someone come by with the Dreadnought Gundam on Pate Night because they won it here.
Yes.
But yeah, it's Astray. That comes after this story is done.
The side story to the side story.
A side story to the side story. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
They introduce, at least for the tray, they introduce a lot of characters. Some of them get some screen time. Some of them just show up and disappear. Like Prayer, the guy here in issue number 2, he shows up.
Revive.
Yeah, he shows up for this manga and then goes
I
away.
haven't seen or read this. I just know this through osmosis.
So what's the year gap like when they put these out? Did they put them back to back to back to back, or were there years between each release?
I think they were pretty close, at least initially.
They knew what they were going to do. The creators had this idea.
Yeah.
Well, in Japan, it comes out fairly regularly because there's like you can get these in single issues and stuff. And
It won't come out as a book like this. Yeah.
They won't come out necessarily as a book like this until like it'll get an omnibus collection eventually. But you would pick up something like a Shonen Jump type of like a magazine that would have like that week's
type
episode.
Okay, so it's like comic books, and when they build them into like those big master like of all the series.
Yeah.
That's right. It doesn't happen out here. Out here, we don't release it like in comic book form. Like they did way back in the day with some Gundam, the early mangas, they had comic books, but now they just wait and release it in books like this.
Yeah.
And unfortunately with that, the release can be spotty because, like I said, rights for some of these companies change all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I know Tokyo Pop, the guys that released this, have a particularly sordid history. Like that company, practically went out of business at one point. I think they're still around.
They're still around.
But they do only American comics now. But a lot of shows,
whatever they do, they don't do Gundam anymore.
yeah, a lot of mangas they started and never finished. And unfortunately, I know Astray was one of those. École de Cell, which is another Gundam side story they never finished. Which is
To be fair, Kishimoto?
yeah,
He never finished it. So
that was the other thing.
They just like randomly stop.
A
They
lot-
just, like, I'm gonna stop
A
now.
lot of manga artists are
Yes.
notorious for that. They will
That
start a story,
happens.
it will be really great, and it just will not end, like have a good, satisfying ending,
Mhm.
or just they'll lose interest and jump to something else.
or get thrown onto other projects like
the notorious one is Berserk.
yeah. Or was
Oh,
it
really? They got pushed onto the Berserk project?
No, Mikimoto, because he was the one who did a lot of Macross art.
Or yeah,
So he got thrown onto like the Macross 7 manga,
Right.
And like taken away from this thing, and then
he
just
couldn't
never
focus on
finished
it anymore.
École du Ciel, which I hope he does one day, but like I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, the guy that does Berserk is just like obsessed with Idolmaster. He doesn't have time to do his comic anymore.
So yeah, so
Yeah, you've got everything here that Tokyo Pop released
I'm-
of Astray.
yeah, the 9 manga volumes here is the totality of what they released.
That's unfortunate because I
America?
know there's a lot more.
And there is so much more they never released.
That's
You
un-
didn't- oh yeah. This is a tiny fraction of the full Astray story. It goes into weird stuff like what's going on during Destiny, then after
Right.
Destiny, where there's like a lot of clones running around and all these different like spatial traveling mobile suits and some
Like
really
the Stargazer and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah. The Stargazer, it's the Gundam with the Stargate on its back.
Ah, okay. So if somebody wanted to get into Astray, where would be the ideal place for someone to start?
Can you still get these?
Can you get them easily?
Hell no.
Oh, really? You had to like
We
find
mentioned
eBay?
fan sub. We mentioned like fan subbing groups.
Mm-hmm.
You say there's a lot they missed out on. Are there
Yes.
fan projects for the stuff that was not released?
So yes, for the stuff that wasn't released, there's less of an sticky issue because it was never licensed in America, so no one's going to tell them to stop.
Right.
So those are online at like Zionic, like you can get Destiny Astray and that sort of stuff.
Okay,
For
so-
the originals, you can try to find these books. They're way out of print. Like these are from early 2000s, back in the day.
Right. And like I said, Tokyo Pop doesn't have the license anymore, so these aren't getting reprints
Yeah,
ever.
they're
Oh,
never
really?
coming back
So eBay, Macari, like all those.
You know what? Like a used bookstore might be a good bet. You see them getting manga sometimes.
That's if you want to read it. Although I would suggest to fans if they want to get into these side stories,
Mhm.
a recent game release, Gundam Crossrays.
Oh,
Gundam
okay.
Crossrays covers this story pretty faithfully. It cuts
Okay.
out some of the details just because it's a strategy fighting game about the Gundam, so they don't focus on too much of the character stuff, but you get enough that okay, I get this is what the story is.
And that's a recent game, so it's Bandai Namco.
Yep.
So it should
This
have
year-
English in it.
Yep,
because
it's English.
they released their stuff now for the Southeast Asian.
Now, would it be for what system?
I got mine for Switch, but I think there's for PS4 as well.
But that's one of the good things because it's Bandai Namco now.
Regionless.
They regionalist release, and they have English options in there immediately because they sell in the Philippines and stuff like that, and English is a primary language.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
I did the same thing with my Girls in Panzer game, so I don't have to like sit there and wade through translations. I can get the Bandai Namco release for Southeast Asia, and it's in English.
Super Robot Wars.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Same
So
thing
if you
with-
want to get a release from Bandai, you get the Southeast Asian. That's what
you can get the Southeast Asian region release, and we'll play on American systems, and it'll usually
It'll be English.
Usually
it'll have
be-
an option for it.
It'll have the dialogue will usually still be in Japanese, but it'll have options for English
Yeah.
subtitles.
Yeah,
Like
like if that's voice acting, they're not going to change that.
Yeah, that's
gonna be-
expensive.
Yeah, so it'll have the proper.
So if someone wanted to get into this Astray, they could start with the game.
Yeah, it's a good way, especially if you're going to like some of the models that we're going to show you. That shows off the original versions I've got here and all of the many variants.
I know there's a lot of Astray variants.
Yeah, if we want to pull some of those.
I think there's more Astray variants than there are of the Strike.
Yeah. Because the Strike has packs. The Astray is like he completely rebuilds the suit every
All
time.
right, so that gives us a good chance to segue into the kits. Why don't you go ahead and pass
So
me what you want-
Wen's had a comment. He said even the 1/100 scale kits are hard to find nowadays.
I mean, we just got the high resolution one.
Yeah, we have the high resolution one here. So
Which is 1/100.
well,
yeah.
if
Grab-
it's still here.
and and the 1/100 Astray is a beautiful looking kit.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take a look at them. So
Which one you want to start with?
Which one?
start with number 1, the gold frame.
Okay.
All right, so this is the Astray gold frame.
Yeah, they all have a model number, and that one's.
So these are real grade.
Yep, these are all the real
1/100 or 1/144, right?
Yep,
So same
1/144th
size,
kit.
bigger
Yeah,
size,
same
my-
size as a normal high grade, but much higher detail,
much more complex.
larger part count, and more difficult to build and a little more fragile.
At least so. This one, or at least the original red frame, came out in 2015.
Mhm.
The blue frame came out December of that same year, and then this gold frame came out 2016.
But they're all using the same parts and molds, just with
Yep.
the color variation, maybe a few different accessories and things.
Yep, at least for these.
So it's still a fairly new kit, not that old.
Eventually, I want to get the gold frame Amatsu, which is a
The black
complete redo of this one, and I want to bring that in one day.
right.
But this at least build wise is one of my favorite builds.
Mhm.
The like you say, the part count is higher than normal high grade, but it's like the difficulty isn't too much there. All of this gold in the body it's molded that way, so yeah,
You don't have to paint that.
no painting on the inner frame or anything like that.
Any stickers for the kit?
Like many real grades, I should have brought them over here. Somebody, can you grab like out of the box just
Stickers?
yeah, any of those sticker sheets? The real grades come with lots of stickers. I did not use all of them. The ones I like to use are kind of like the shiny ones.
Yeah, I see like a
Zoom
little
in.
bit of the metal details on the shoulders and things like that.
Some of it's paint, but like, oop.
I don't know which one. I guess that's the whole thing.
It's cool. Yeah, let me pull one of these out. Take a look at these sticker sheets. I didn't use all of them because
Oh, yeah, that's quite a bit.
look
Dang.
at there's a ton of stickers on it. If you want to have like every single warning label in the world that was ever on this kit, you can have it there.
But it's up to your taste, and you prefer to have them a little more bare.
Yeah, I just put a few in there. I usually go for the shiny ones, to make it pop in certain angles. And then each one of them has a custom logo on their left shoulder. You can't really see it with this one,
With that bazooka.
but yeah, it's the oh shit.
So Zentram 1337 says, are those stickers or decals?
Sticker.
Right, they're not like water
They
slide.
are
not water
They are
slide.
not water slide, but they are all clear backed, so it's not covering up anything.
Did they start releasing water slides at a later date, Ben? Like in
They
kits in
usually-
general?
With the master grades, they usually release a sheet of water slide decals the same month, but they kind of do it as a thing where if you want to get them, you have to buy them separate.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like an add-on. I don't know if they have water slides for these guys, but I'm sure you can get them. If not Bandai, then through a third party. There's lots of third-party companies that make their own decals. And there's printer papers you can buy to print out your own water slides as well, if you have the right printer and get the right paper for it.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of tastes. Water slides take a little more time to put on, and they're a little more finicky. but in my opinion, they tend to look better in the end. Stickers can look good; they just take a lot of time to apply, and if you're not careful with them, you can destroy them
Yeah.
Or lose them.
or lose them. Exactly.
I was really careful with these, and there is some of that where there's a little excess plastic, so I cut that off.
Right.
But yeah, like you say, it takes a little time to get that.
All right. So,
Right.
someone who's not familiar with Gundam Seed, the basic storyline is that the main faction, the Federation, essentially in that storyline,
Alliance and that.
the Alliance, right, has a couple Gundam prototypes. I think it's 5 in total.
Well, the main thing is that Earth versus space.
Right.
Earth is all normal humans essentially.
Yeah, the
space is
normals and the coordinators.
coordinator, the naturals and the coordinators.
Right.
So the coordinators are genetically enhanced to have better reflexes or better mental capacity.
Mhm.
And I think it starts out in the storyline as like kind of a medical thing to help children who are gonna, have deformities and whatnot when they're gonna be born. But it eventually becomes a thing of like people wanting designer children.
Like
And-
eugenics and things like that.
Yes.
So it quickly boils out of control. But the reason I mentioned that is like we know, like if you've seen Gundam Seed, you know where those 5 units fit into like the development timeline of the Gundams.
Yeah.
Where do the Astrays come in relation to the other Gundams?
The Astrays actually come in before the strike and the Aegis and all of those.
So all those guys are kind of based off of these?
Yeah,
Okay, that kind of explains why the design is kind of stripped down. They look more like skeletal.
exactly.
Yes.
The story reason of that is because the first episode takes place in Heliopolis, like we mentioned, which is supposed to be a neutral colony. But
It's always the best place to hide your secret weapons.
but yeah, it turns out that
Inside the neutral colonies.
if you want to switch it, we can go to number 2.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put up one of the other
Or-
ones while we're talking about this.
Buddy, the red frame.
The red frame. This is the face of Astray, essentially.
But yeah, so it's supposed to be a neutral colony, but they find a bunch of mobile suits, which are weapons. Watch this waist; it's super.
Oh,
it's super loose. I have to put some glue or something.
Half
on
a
that.
second too late, and I already.
How could he fix that, Ben?
Just push it down. Just push it down hard.
Some super glue would take care of that.
Some super glue, but I'm not going to do that to his poor kit right now.
I'll do
The
it.
swords they come shiny like that, or is that a sticker?
No, I painted that.
Oh, you painted the swords.
Oh no, the
sword.
The swords themselves come silver shiny, but all the scabbard and all of that, I painted the gold, so it has a little sheen on it.
Did it come? Did it come
It's cool.
gold?
It's cool. Leave it. Yeah, they came molded in kind of a yellowish plastic. It's fine.
Broke it.
It's fine. I'm gonna.
Terrible. It's limited edition.
There's
He's the least limited edition out of all of them. And I should mention this gold frame and this blue frame were P Bandai suits, so they're premium Bandai.
Okay, so those are not typical releases.
Yes.
P Bandai is something you either have to order from their site specifically, or you get at special events they do in Japan.
Buy it from eBay from resellers.
Buy it from eBay for resellers for ridiculous amounts. Thankfully now P Bandai has an option for buying internationally. It's still more expensive than normal kits, but this other stuff you probably can't get now, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, so Heliopolis, they find Gundams. Oh my god, neutral colony.
Yeah, they're finding Gundams on these neutral areas, like they're just
Yeah.
hidden.
Look,
Yeah, pretty much.
The Alliance is developing them there in secret.
The main reason is because the coordinators have mobile suits, and
my gosh.
with their super
It's like
coordinator
Pennsylvania.
brains, they can pilot them. But
Exactly.
the Earth Alliance can't. So, they're developing these weapons in secret. So, oh no, the the Zaft actually steal most of them except for the Strike.
Right.
So we find out in the manga, this red frame, the blue frame, and the gold frame were all the test beds for all of the other the 5 Gundams you see in that first episode.
Yeah, like the proof of concept machines.
Yep. The main thing is the backpack gimmick. If you pull this down, oh god, yeah, okay. There's a peg in the back, which I'll show you right now. Backpack units can slot in for all of the Astrays.
Oh yeah, so, yeah. I know that was kind of
cool.
that was a gimmick with the original Seed show as well. Like the main suit, the Strike, would switch out weapon packs on its back for different combat situations,
Yeah.
and so it's the same thing with the Astray.
But do the backpacks like follow them? Or are they like buried inside of them? Or do they come out randomly? Or is
It
an
depends on the
attachment?
show. In the first seed, they have to get them on before they launch. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, I forgot my equipment.
But it's not like the Hulkbuster where you can just like call it from space.
They have the Sky Rat where they can do that for some of the Strike ones, can't they?
No, they have to be equipped beforehand. But in Destiny, they come up with like the laser guided things where the pack can just be shot out and it docks with the Gundam in midair.
Makes for a cool opening animation.
This is one of them. The tactical arms, which in the manga can transform into like a sword, into like a drone form, fly around if he ever loses it and come straight back to him.
Now, I mentioned I had some experience with a seed kit or an Astray kit. Is I bought a 1/100 of the blue frame with the tactical arms.
As you're talking about it,
Sorry, but I had the 1/100 no grade of the blue frame with the tactical arms just because I wanted that giant sword it came with. I ended up using it on a different kit.
And you're talking about the 1/100. We have the 1/100 of the blue frame right here in the store.
Oh right, yes, we do the master grade.
Oh yeah,
At the time, the master grade wasn't a thing. I'm sure I would have got it if it was.
Yeah.
But see, here you got the blue frame as well now.
Here's our other hero suit. These two, the red and the blue frame, are the hero suits. The gold frame starts out as a villain suit, then eventually becomes a good guy.
So where were they fighting in the series?
Starting off the gold frame.
No,
the gold frame wants to
after
kill
they're
them.
all friends, they're all buddies, or that happened at the end of the series. Like,
Yeah.
it's a resolution.
And then at the end, they're fighting. I think they're fighting like some big bad guy from the Alliance. He's called Astray, and he's using the Regenerate Gundam, which I don't think has ever gotten a release because it's essentially the Aegis Gundam from Seed, but larger, purpler. And its gimmick is if it gets like its arms or legs chopped off, it can receive replacement parts in the middle of a battle and regenerate.
That's a useful ability.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I love this big RPG 7 that the blue frame has as well. Like he's just carrying around a giant robot-sized Soviet rocket launcher.
Yep. That was one of the Seed weapon expansion kits. They came with the dual Gundam's rifle and the missile launcher, which could either be the bazooka you see there or the big like four clip beam.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, beam bazooka.
Was the expansion kit with that P Bandai as well?
No, that one was just builder's parts.
Oh, nice.
Whatever.
Well, that's good. So
Like
that's a little bit easier to get access to then.
Yeah. And then also these pods on the bottom that comes from the manga when the red frame blue frame fight for the first time. Guy is the guy he's a mercenary, so he uses his suit for fighting versus Lo, who like wants to be kind of a hippie and not really fight too much until he gets this samurai sword, and he's like, okay, I'll fight if I need to.
Right, because at the start of the story, he's just like a junk dealer. He's not even like a combat pilot.
I mean, he stays a junk dealer for the entire manga, but yeah, he gets better at combat through like literally learning samurai techniques from an old samurai master on a deserted junk asteroid.
That makes perfect sense. I'm totally able to buy that.
Yeah, and he's able to take those skills as a samurai and turn them into
They translate almost perfect
into a mobile suit ability. But the first time that they fight, Guy's kitted himself out with bazookas and the leg missile launchers and all of that to just really stick it to him.
Right.
But it's there to show off the Astray's like customizability,
the versatility of the suit.
Because he uses up all of the missiles, he just drops off all the extra gear, and then he still has his main frame to fight with.
Right. And then you're lightweight as well.
Yeah. So and that kind of goes into like the customizability. So then you see like I've got all these weapons and stuff on him, but he's got the backpack which can transform, and I don't really want to do that the second on camera, but I might do that in a minute.
Right.
Off. But that goes into like the red frame will become like the red frame red dragon, which
is that where it gets the giant arms?
No, that's the red frame power.
Okay.
Where you rip off these two tiny arms and you get two giant arms which are able to swing a 150 meter katana.
Yeah, I've seen
made of
that.
space metal.
Did it come in the kit?
No. I think they've released one of those.
Listen, imagine a suit this size wielding a human-sized katana.
Pretty much.
It's pretty much ridiculous.
Yeah.
Really?
And not even.
So where does he get this? Like, who makes this? Like,
he gets a meteor from space, and he makes that into a sword. That's what
totally,
happens.
totally
Space Proximus metal. Why not?
totally makes sense.
Yeah.
How does he forge this sword in the suit?
I think so.
Is
Yeah.
there like a montage scene of him doing this?
Yeah, he actually gets a power loader for the suit, so it's like a more giant version of the suit, with like a hammer and whatnot, working the metal.
Man, that was a stretch.
I need to see. I need to read Astray. It sounds
It is wacky at some points.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have other stuff like in the novels, guy fighting clone coordinators, and his is really combat focused. He's like he's a mercenary guy, so he'll take on him and his team will take on whoever's the highest bidder. But you eventually realize, oh, they've got kind of the harder gold situation where if someone's paying them for like an evil job, like just murdering innocents or anything like that, they're like, no, we're not going to do that. And then the gold frame, this one gets the least amount of story. It's the first main villain, but after he gets taken out, his sister kind of takes over and reforges the suit, and then really uses it as kind of a symbol because she's really more political facing until the most recent manga.
Right, that's kind of
Princess of the Sky, where it gets back to its gold and white roots, but it's in the new form. So they all kind of work together. And that's a good guy suit. But design wise, Astray's my favorite. Like you said, I like the kind of skeletal look they have, and then pose them together.
Yeah,
I like
they look
the
really,
primary colors.
They look really good together as a team.
It always makes me think with these story tie-ins, like as somebody's writing or drawing or creating, do they go to like this like back ancient room with like all these like reference material that they have to like, oh, does it link into this story? Like how do they know?
Certainly,
it's actually kind of like Star Wars. There will be people in charge of lore.
Oh, really?
And,
Okay.
like you'll see, like in credits for anime, there'll be like for certain side sources, like the scenario coordinator is like the credit, and there's certain people in charge of making some things make sense.
They're connected,
and that some things don't interfere with others. But a lot of this stuff, it's just like it's basically the committee gets together and says, we're going to make an anime, there will be a game, and there will be X number of mangas. Go out,
get it done.
Find a number of artists, find a number of writers, make that happen. Okay, like what's the like guideline? Well, they may have a certain number of products they want to sell. They may want you to advertise a certain different aspect of Gundam through it. But pretty much from that point you're pretty much left to your own devices. Just don't interfere with the other people's work, essentially.
And then does somebody check it, like check fact the lore? Like if it starts connecting?
Not really.
No.
Like
if it's Takeda doing the art, like maybe.
Yeah.
But
no, like he has outright rewritten some stories.
If it's the same creator, then sometimes. But honestly, like canon is a really Western sort of concept, whereas in Japan it's like you look at the Crossbone manga and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Where does this fit?
That's a good point. The canon is really kind of a Western thing. Like we mentioned Gundam Thunderbolt.
Right.
Gundam Thunderbolt is 1 year war. It has nothing to do with any other.
Which I tried to find on YouTube to watch because I bought that one.
Oh, you did?
But I couldn't find it on YouTube.
They rotated out. I think they just put up F91. So every few months they switch stuff around.
I watched the one that green one that you brought the other time with all those like sentinel things or like little pod things that pop off.
Oh, Kshatriya.
Yeah, that was on. So I watched it.
Okay, yeah, that one's. But yeah, like you mentioned, is like they're not too concerned with making sure the stories necessarily mesh. You know what I mean? But same thing like you said, it's really just about good self-contained.
So someone could pick up. So when somebody wanted to get into Astray, you could literally pick up anywhere, and it will make sense.
Pretty much. For Astray, like there's definitely going to be references to previous things that happen, but
yeah, like they'll mention things that happen.
Because it's a side story. This is like a story going on in a separate planet.
Yeah, a lot of them are self-contained enough that you can read and enjoy it. I just recommend if you can find the first story, read it, just because I like that one the most.
So we had someone TSSSSVS says Crossbone is technically canon.
Like, no, it's not.
I mean,
and then
technically he's right. It's not because Unicorn Gundam erased everything.
I say technically it's not because one, it's not an animation. That's what's canon because that's what gets them.
That's true.
And two, canon is like whatever you consider to be canon.
The canon arguments for Gundam gets like crazy and all over the place. It's like there's set timelines for certain stuff that then will ignore its others. I mean, the only thing I can think of that has a more messed up canon is like Macross. Macross's canon is bonkers. Macross is like you're watching a show and it's like, well, where does this take place? No, this doesn't take place at all. This is actually a movie released in their universe, and you're watching a movie. of their depiction.
You're watching a dramatization of the show that you just watched.
Right, and then like there'll be another episode, and they're filming a movie about the last show.
Yep.
And you're like, what the hell is going on?
Not to mention like any of the mangas, anything like that.
And that's what I mean. It's very much just what did those people behind that little particular snippet of that committee want to do with this particular part.
And then he says here, Thunderbolt is sadly kind of like alternate history.
Yeah. Thunderbolt's kind of its own
I
thing.
mean, they're calling it UC, even though it's like it's not anything like any other UC we found. Like it's technically is.
It's like UC, but it's like UC in like World War II. Like, what if the Russians won? You know what I mean? Like, what if they took over everything at the end?
So
Like, what if Germany went?
Yeah, what if Germany had a moon colony?
Yeah.
It's like you started with real things and then you went bonkers.
So they commented back, Unicorn didn't erase anything though. They contained it back with the NTC.
not having a UC canon fight right now.
Okay.
Dude,
No.
Yeah. You can't, like I said, that gets crazy. Enjoy it for the characters, the spectacle, and the toys.
We can have a debate night.
If you're going to get into like the whole what is canon, what is not, I mean, we're going to make the Star Wars people look like children.
Yes.
It's
We're gonna make them look like reasonable adults.
exactly.
So TSSSSVS, we really appreciate your insight, and we will save that discussion for a later date.
Yes. Come to build night.
Yeah, come to Bill. That's a perfect discussion.
After going to cons for a few years and arguing with Gundam people, I planted my flag firmly in the direct center. And all mecha is good. I don't care.
Sean says, you're going to get unpopular opinion. I did not like Thunderbolt.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's good, Sean.
Like or
That's
don't
fine.
like whatever you want, man.
Totally true. You guys, see, that's the great thing about Flynn's and the Build Night and Gundam. I think you can jump in anywhere in the universe.
Right.
It's totally fine.
See, it's like that's a good point. It's like I don't really like Gundam Seed. Like I've seen it. It's like I would never consider it my favorite show, but I own like 4 model kits from it.
I will.
Yeah, because they
and
look
I'll,
cool.
and I'll say
The kits are fun.
I'm buying kits, and I have only seen like an episode and a half. You know what I'm saying?
The Rexel, you haven't seen any of this.
I haven't seen any of it.
He wanted. I'm like, this isn't even a hero suit, but okay.
Yes. Like the way it looks. I just like the way it looks.
Right.
no.
That's all that matters, man.
And I'll say with the Astray, like same thing. I'm not like I've seen Seed and it's fine. I really don't like Destiny for a whole mess of reasons.
I think even the Seed fans like to hate on Destiny.
but beyond all that, I like Astray better just because it has like neat characters.
I will say the
and neat
designs. The designs of Astray are definitely very eye catching.
Especially for being a real grade, like just on the scale of it. I mean, I built that crossbones in the case, and I mean the intricacy, the stickers you laid out, the colors. I love that the skeleton is actually like the blue, like it was molded in the blue color.
Yep.
It really pops. Now, it would be really dope if they made this in a higher. It would be really fire if they made this in a higher, like a master grade or like a.
They do.
Like
red frame definitely.
well, what about making the whole internal frame LED?
Oh, well, it's not like the unicorn, like the frame of the
It's not
Astray
supposed to light up.
That's just light up, but it'd be cool.
But they do have the perfect grade of
You
the
would buy
Astray
it.
does have the lights in the eyes and stuff like that.
And okay.
But
And let's talk about the last boy I brought in.
as long as we're talking about like arguments about canon, like Build Fighters, I think is like so divisive. It makes some people like irrationally angry, and other people are just like, yes, this show is awesome. Build Fighters is not Gundam in the traditional sense. Like it is not about a war in space, good versus
Right, you
evil.
tell me it's like people building machines to fight each other.
It's people living in our universe that Gundam
Build
exists, the anime and everything exists, and they build the model kits. And there's technology where they can make the model kits fight in like battles and make it like a game out of it.
It is Gunpla YuGiOh.
Yeah, it's basically Gunpla YuGiOh.
Yeah, and that's the one character where he makes his robot look like that girl that he likes. Or
Yep,
whatever,
exactly.
And then
Or like if anyone has seen the anime Angelic Layer, where it's the little girl robots fighting against each other, the one that Clamp did. There's a bunch of shows like that, and Build Fighters is that. But Build Fighters is cool because you get to see takes on designs that those characters make.
but this is Build Fighters.
This is Build Fighters. This is an Astray that the character customized. This is not something from Astray, like this armor, the backpack, and everything.
You think it could be, but it's not.
It looks very much in that line, yes, but it's specifically from Build Fighters. He liked the design and customized it to his own tastes.
Yeah.
Dang.
And the reason I brought this one, beyond just it looking cool, is to compare because I built this one, obviously, after I did the real grades. And build-wise, they are almost identical. So
I can see you put a lot of more detail into this one, too, with the panel lining.
But the red frame, the build for the real grade red frame is almost exactly the same as the build for the master grade.
But
red
this
frame.
is an older kit as well, because like they took a lot of what they figured out when they were making this and applied it in the smaller scale to the real grade.
But that's something I find with anything that any kind of real grades that I've built. If I compare them to the master grades, like a lot of the builds are very similar. So
Okay.
if you enjoy like the master grade builds, but you don't have a lot of space, real grades are good because they have that level of detail that you can put in. And yeah,
I'm gonna have to get one soon. I've actually got one on pre-order. I've got the real grade Zeong on pre-order, which should be pretty fun.
Yeah,
But
I saw the real grade wing gun.
When's it's chiming here? When's it's chiming in here? And he's saying,
Say
that TSSS said Zeta because if someone asked a question, if I watched the 3 one-year movies, what would be the series to watch next in that canon?
Yep,
Zeta. And then Wen says they're just trying to sell Gunpla kits. That's all they're trying to do so we can build old kits.
it's working. It's working.
That's all Build Fighters is about.
It's working.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out right here. If you didn't know, all of Gundam is a commercial to buy the kits.
He's not wrong. It's very much.
It didn't start with Build Fighters, folks. It started 30 years ago.
Yeah, the original Gundam got canceled. It had the original series was canceled at the end, very much like Star Trek was in its original.
Yeah.
And it only became popular through reruns and toy sales.
Well, they did it with He-Man.
Same thing.
They ran the
He-Man
toys. They knew they wanted to do the
toys came out first, and then they made the show and everything.
Or
Just
Star
the
Wars,
toys.
where when you bought the toy, you didn't even get the toy. You got like this little backing painted sheet, and you got the toys later.
Right.
At least Gundam hasn't
If you
gone
want to
that
close
far.
them up, you can.
Could you imagine if
It's pretty-
Gundam went that
pretty
far and said,
flexible.
you know what? We're going to release this movie, but we're not going to release any kits. They're going to be cardboard cutouts you're going to get, and you're
Yeah.
going to wait till these
Like-
kits get released.
Yeah, so I never take that as a thing to say like, oh, I'm not gonna watch Build Fighters or Build Divers or any of the shows. It's like, oh, it's a toy commercial. They're all toy commercials. This entire hobby.
And
is
you
a
do
toy
get to see some cool stuff in there because they animate some suits that never got to be
Yep.
animated in any other mediums.
or animated properly, like the G Savior.
The G Savior shows up, albeit only for a second, dies immediately.
Nah. But at least it looks cool for a minute.
Right, and you see other weird stuff as well. You see like that Sazabi that's customized to look like it's Char. It's got his helmet on and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, stuff like that is fun. The characters are wacky, and that's fun. It's like a nice break from other Gundam. I mean, I like Build Fighters a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
The first Build Fighters, especially. That's
The first Build Fighters is the best. Try is okay, and everything after that
Good.
kind of starts to get a little bit worse. But that's diminishing returns. It's true of anything.
I like the backpack. It's like that. I always forget the name of those.
that's an Oni map.
Yeah, the Oni
Yes.
mask. Yeah, that's really.
He can
dope.
wear that on his arm like a shield as well, can't he?
Yeah.
And I believe
Very
these arms as well.
Oh, yeah.
These are like
Like
articulated sub arms.
If anyone's gonna want to watch the show, but
Yeah,
yes,
he's got.
so
That's his gimmick. He can have those arms pop off and hold the swords as well, so he can attack you with forearms. Or
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. We got some comments going on. It says, Sean Tide chimes in. The RG Red frame is one of the Gunpla kits that started getting me back into the hobby. Sean,
yeah.
it was nice to see a Barbados versus Strike Gundam.
Oh yeah, on the latest the battle log. for
Yeah,
Build Divers.
it was.
Strike Freedom.
It was yes. Well, the Strike Freedom versus Barbatos, and then they had Gundam Bail versus the Neo Zeong, and the Neo
The
Zeong
second
just
Neo Zeong.
flattened it like a fucking bug.
That was fun. They're gonna do more, right?
Yeah.
they're gonna do a few more.
That's the other thing that's fun. They do like these little snippets at the end of some shows called battle logs, which is just they'll have characters from different shows fighting.
Well, maybe what we'll do is because we can get another private screening at Silver Spot. Maybe we'll do a private screening of like a Gundam movie because it's just 20 people in a whole movie theater. That'd be kind of interesting.
I got to see Gundam NT in theaters as well as Char's Counterattack.
Yep.
But we have to pick out like which one we want to see. Like maybe one that
That's tough.
maybe like the Gundam 00 movie because I don't think that got a release out here theatrically. Something like
As
that.
long as remember we got to get access on a streaming site. That's the thing.
Can I give the guys a thumb drive?
Thumb drive, maybe I could talk to them.
Can I give them a Blu-ray?
Yeah, because you can do that just so people know. Like, if you want to see any of the movies for Gundam or whatever, you can go to Silver Spot Cinema and they'll do private screening and they'll screen whatever you
Then
want.
I'm just gonna go there and just rent out the theater for Girls in Panzer, the movie, and just
God,
be the only one in there. But I don't care.
you're like that creepy old dude in the back.
I'm not that creepy.
What do you guys think of that?
I should have just said I'm not that.
What are you looking at?
Like,
well, hey,
like streaming, and we've been talking around it, but there's a lot of Gundam streaming officially now on YouTube.
yep.
Which didn't used to be the case.
Yeah,
For so many years.
yeah.
Not Astray specifically, because there's nothing to stream for that because it's
Right.
a book. But if you want to see this guy in action, go ahead and watch Build Fighters Season 1. That came out on YouTube before it ever came out on the TV in the US.
Yeah, and there is an English dub of that as well.
Yeah, there's an English dub now online too.
Yeah, but it's like the East Asian one, so like the dub is like very.
TSS says there's the Build Fighters scene where the Italian guy that pilots
Fellini,
Win Zero
my boy.
picks up a lady by having a waiter deliver her a V Gundam suit.
A Tournay Gundam suit.
The
Wacky
guy,
best ending.
the guy's got taste. Okay, if any suit is gonna win over a woman, it's gonna be the Victory Gundam. Okay?
No,
He
he's not.
wears a suit.
Is it the victory or is it the turn?
It's a
Gundam
victory.
kit,
It's a
V-
victory.
Yo, Miami Gunpla, what's up, man? Oh, and that's how he picks him up?
That's how he,
Yes.
That's how he picks up ladies in the bar. He doesn't order
That's-
drinks.
that's-
That's Gunpla.
I'm gonna bring that in. Like, I'm probably gonna get
Like the suit or the kit? Like this isn't.
No, the pleated suit. He built there at the bar and says, "Oh, deliver this to the lady
instead
at
of a
the table."
drink.
Instead of a drink.
Well, hey, if she accepts it, she's a winner. You know.
It worked. It worked.
That's
I'm gonna
weird.
talk.
I don't know if I would
It
do
worked
that.
until his other girl showed up.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about my man Ricardo Fellini when I bring in the wing kits.
Yes, Fellini is probably one of the best parts of Build Fighters.
Oh, the wing Gundam Fenice is such a great design, and he's just the ladies' man of ladies' mans.
Yes.
Until you get the thinnest layer beneath the surface, and you realize he's such a dork.
He's faking it real bad.
So I know, guys, we're hitting our 1 hour mark. I know time flies, but Ben, do you have any other questions for Varun about Astray that you wanted to, throw out there?
Just like you said, if you were going to get into Astray, maybe you don't know anything about Cosmic Era, any of the seed shows. The best place you think like a beginner to start, if you think they should go to like a Xeonic Scanlation group and try to do that.
Like, because I don't know where you would officially find this anymore because it's so long out of print. So
You were saying the game.
The
yeah,
video game.
if you can find the scanlations or of the manga or somehow find the books online, go for it. Especially the first three. Where are they?
I put them down.
Yeah, the first three.
Show them the first three. Those would be
Okay.
the first I would look for. That's a good little intro.
And what would they type into, let's say, like eBay or something like that? What would they type in to like begin their search?
Just Gundam Seed Astray manga volume 1, 2, 3.
Okay, there you go. There you guys can see the covers of what they look like, so they know.
Two of them are backwards.
No, they were not. Yeah, they were about like. But the what's it called?
These have two covers.
There was no reproduction of this, so there's no like.
I mean, there was until the company went out of business.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've been out of business for
Okay.
they've been out of the game for a while now.
Yeah.
So bootleg would be something.
If you want to read the comic. Otherwise, if you just want to get familiar with the story, go ahead and get SD Gundam Cross Rays. Should be fairly cheap at this point because it came out I think last year.
Okay.
And it has all of these stories in game form.
Okay.
And even if you're not too interested in the story and everything, these are cool model kits. Like the Astray is an awesome looking design.
The red frame Astray real grade specifically is always always there.
I know it's a popular design.
The blue and the gold, you might have a tougher time finding those because they're P Bandai, so they may be out of print right now.
But I know right now we do have the high resolution of the Red Astray,
Yep.
which is that really buff one.
Yeah, I've
with
seen it.
Like the muscular look to it. Very cool kit. If you guys are interested in that, don't wait to pick it up because they're not going to last long. And we do still believe have a master grade of the blue frame with the tactical arms with that big sword.
So it has its own version of this.
So if you guys are interested in the Astray, the models, come by the store, check out, see what we got. Might be something up your alley. Like you said, if you're into like the ninja aesthetic or the samurai aesthetic, very much in that kind of vein.
Something I didn't even get to talk about. They all have kind of their own different aesthetic. Red face very samurai, blue is very like military, and gold is more feminine. Feminine and like as claws. It gets claws eventually.
Right, but look, chicks got claws.
They all carry the sabers.
Yeah. They all start out looking the same, but then end up looking very different.
Very cool.
Nice.
So I think we've gotten definitely an education on Astray, and people can jump into that universe whenever they so feel fit to jump into it.
The singularity of the red frame.
It
It's
is.
very samurai.
One popular design pretty much spawned an entire thing because it was carried on the design of the red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's a great
100%.
looking suit.
100%. And then, anybody, like, could anybody at any, for your first kit, could you pick up one of the higher, that master grade?
Yeah, sure.
And
I
just
think
jump
there's-
into it.
Yeah, it wasn't too. This one's a little more complicated than the basic red frame build because you got to deal with these arms and slightly different legs and shoulders. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of like hands or anything to deal with. I did some extra pen lining, but there wasn't. I didn't do any extra stickers or anything. Yeah, it's a fine starter
Cool.
kit.
Cool. So you guys you heard it here. By all means, jump into the master grade or just get the high resolution kit and jump into the way deep end of the pool.
Yeah,
But,
Go all out.
Exactly. So Varun is here, guys, on Thursdays on build nights at 8 o'clock, usually almost every week, as long as you see, and Wednesdays now too. Just a recap. Remember, D&D starts this week, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Feel free to join us. You don't really need any. I've been getting a lot of requests from like newbies, like people who haven't played, and I said, yeah, come on out. We're super friendly. Same thing with Gundam. I saw
absolutely.
Uber's cosplay helping one of our Flynn's family members, Travis, with his old school,
Osprey.
his Osprey kit, which is like you got to glue that thing together.
That's an old school.
So it's all about super friendly, family friendly. And then we have, like I said, the family build night coming up on the 7th. We have our fall family fun day on this Saturday. And then we have tons of new kits here too that I'll be posting and sharing as well. So I really appreciate you coming in, Varun, and giving us a lesson on Astray.
Yeah.
And then we're super stoked. And the next time we'll have you back, hopefully next month for something else.
I'll be back.
For something else.
We talk about real grade, but I gotta ask you, Ben. One thing that we're most likely going to talk about: have you caught up on Gagar?
No, I'm going to.
I knew
Trust me.
you'd say no.
I promise you,
I can catch up. We'll do an
I
episode.
promise you, I'm behind on so many matters. It's sick. It's practically criminal.
Yeah, we're big fans of King of the Braves Gagar.
And he's been bugging me to finish this continuation manga.
Continuation.
Just like I
Did we have the
time.
Gagar one? Did we have it here or no?
We did. I was the one that bought it.
Okay, there you go. All right, brilliant. A supplier taking his own supply. So it's like that's the
I know.
so.
Breaking the first rule, drug deal.
Anyways, so in closing, guys, thanks so much for hanging out hanging out with us for the last hour and 10 minutes. If they want to find you, Ben, where can they find you at?
Uber's cosplay on Instagram or YouTube, best place.
Exactly. And then Varun
at Velertron on Discord.
And of course at Flynn's Gaming FL on every social media platform you could imagine. And just in closing, for those of you who stuck to the end, just wanted to let you know we had our conversation with our property manager today. And so it looks like we'll have a fully executed lease within the next couple weeks or next week so that the extra space will be locked and loaded. So I'm super stoked to get that locked and loaded. We'll be reaching out to you for donations for that. So by all means, we're willing to do the work, but we might need some help with the heavy lifting. But anyways, guys, really appreciate you. Be sure to check out the Discord. Both Varun, Senpai, and Ben are there. Greatly appreciate their assistance and their help. We'll see you guys this Saturday. Have a great evening, and we'll catch you later.
Take care.
Bye, guys.